It's time to make decisions. Welcome to That Little Crafting Place for miniatures and more. We're going to take a look at a wide range of Inglenook Hearth. You will notice that on several of these fireplaces there are iron racks on either side of the area where the fire is centered, and those are for cooking large slabs of meat. I am going to hazard a guess that before this fireplace was modernized, that there were iron racks on either side of the fire pit in this fireplace as well. Oddly enough, I happen to have a kettle just like that. It's soot covered. My grandmother used it to make apple butter, but my father's side of the family came over on the Mayflower, so I do not know how long this pot has been in my family. It was very interesting going through these various designs of these old fireplaces. There are takeaways from each and every one, and so it was time to make some decisions. And decisions were made. What I've done is I've isolated a few images from which I'm going to glean my ideas. I want the things that I make to come from actual images from history. So that is my goal. I love this fireplace, but this one is my favorite. So the next move right now is we're going to move on to doing the stonework from the build this fall. I'm on my last 2 buckets of USG joint compound, and I'm going to have to buy more. You can get the recipe for the paper mache at Ultimate Paper Mache, which is Jonni Good's site. I'll put the link in the description below. Jonni has an updated recipe that does not require joint compound, and you can get that recipe at Ultimate Paper Mache. The joint compound comes in 3-pound buckets. I only have 1 pound of paper mache, and I have to stretch it for this whole project because I have to make more this weekend. I'll use a dampened sponge to even out the paper mache. Then I'll use my corner square to make sure that all the corners and surfaces where the walls and floors meet are nice and straight. I'm going to allow the extra moisture from the sponge to dry out overnight, and we'll be back. Here we are. Well, you can see I'm beginning to mark where the fire pit is actually going to be. I purchased this brick mold from Amazon. If it's still available, I'll put the link in the description below. But I decided I was going to do stonework and not brick. So hence, I am not using it, but I did want to share that mold with you. I'm going to mark it at 4 inches. And that's where the fire pit is going to be. This stage of the stonework will be allowed to dry for a couple of days, and when we return with fresh paper mache, we're going to build the other components of the Inglenook Hearth. Now I have an idea where everything is going to be, and we're going to find our tools and get started. My little humbleman will show me that I have room on either side of the fireplace for it to be 5-scale functional. And if the dolls actually use this fireplace, I have more problems than if there's not enough room. I'm going to start by marking the keystone. Once the keystone is in and I framed the fireplace with stonework, you're going to see where I'm going to start marrying designs from various fireplaces. In this little kitchen, the fireplace is not going to be the main source of cooking, so I'm going to get started on the iron stove this week. Once the stove is complete, we're going to start decorating the kitchen. I do have a lot of pre-made items that I've thrifted for the kitchen, but my goal is to make as much as I can by hand. So I hope to learn a lot of new techniques as we fill up the kitchen with lovely vintage items. Here's my selection of tools, most of which I have thrifted or purchased on Amazon over the last few years. I like the contrast of texture between the hand-chiseled stone and the natural stone. The floor of the fireplace is going to be the natural round stone. These are the slate tiles in front of the fireplace. When I return next week, we're going to complete all the components to the rest of the fireplace, as well as coloring all of the stone. We'll create all of the iron brackets, as well as some of the unusual cooking instruments used in such a fireplace. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe. Please share That Little Crafting Place with your friends. I welcome your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. Check us out on Instagram and tap that notification button for upcoming announcements of thrifts and crafts. But most of all, have a lovely, lovely day.